If you've noticed your face is kind of falling or drooping, especially in the lower part through here, this video is going to help you turn that around. I'm going to show you 2 simple exercises that will be a game changer. And these are not typical stretches. In fact, you don't want to do stretches for what I'm going to show you. If you happen to be going into a bathroom and you see in a mirror like shadowing of the light makes your neck look exaggerated and you're like, what the heck happened to my neck? Or you might take a selfie and because of the bad lighting and things, it's like this gets exaggerated. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with gaining weight. It's something else. And then of course you might try expensive serums, creams, and it doesn't really do anything. Your face is not just a layer of skin on muscles. You have a layer of fascia, which is connective tissue underneath that, and also the bone underneath all of this reshapes as we get older as well. I'm going to show you what's involved with that and how to slow down that process and maybe even reverse some of it. But out of all the parts of our body, our faces tend to age first, and that has to do with this one thing. Your face is a highly sensory organ. The receptors for hormones are highly concentrated in your face, mainly for a couple of reasons, but one is emotions. So out of your entire body, if you look at someone, you're going to notice their emotions with their face more than any part of the body. So what we're talking about with emotions is both positive emotions and negative emotions, right? The negative emotions could be anger, it could be hostility, it could be fear, it could be grief, depression. All of those negative emotions have a serious effect on the facial structures and the muscles and the connective tissue, mainly due to this stress hormone called cortisol. Cortisol tends to really destroy someone's face. It can age the face. You can get cortisol face, which is actually accumulation of certain fat in the face. I actually had that. And that could have been because I took cortisol every year in my 20s. This accumulation of a lot of negative emotions really wears down the facial structures, especially as we get older, because a lot of this accumulates. The one that affects the face the most is this one muscle called the platysma. It's a really interesting name for a muscle, but the platysma is the muscle that goes from your collarbone to the jawline. And when this muscle gets loose, it tends to hang. It creates like that turkey neck. One of the very important things you need to know about this muscle is it's almost entirely fast twitch fibers. They're lightning speed fibers. They're designed for explosive movements. And this is why you'd never want to do like a sustained hold stretch on your neck muscles. You want an exercise that's completely different because this muscle is involved in smiling, gasping, talking, not the slow sustained holds. Now, before we get into the stretch, I just need to mention a couple things. One, cortisol. Cortisol is an enemy to your face, especially when you're in any lower emotions. And so the best way to deal with cortisol is not necessarily just to pretend like you're not stressed, but to use motion and exercise and walking to kind of burn off that excess cortisol that builds up in your body through a stressful day. And the main stress that activates cortisol is not physical stress, it's mental stress. And this is why we need to pair the mental stress with the physical walking. That's the antidote. So a lot of people ask me, what supplements do I recommend? Now, of course, I'm not biased of my own high quality supplement line, but if you go to Amazon and type Dr. Berg supplements, you'll find more information. As a side note, some people take hyaluronic acid, which is a natural remedy to help increase hydration to your skin, but that only works on a very superficial layer. It does not work on the actual root cause, which is the muscles underneath the skin, or the bones that make up your face. So the 2 exercises I'm going to teach you right now are one to help with this muscle, which is underneath here, and the other is to strengthen the muscles, the connective tissue, the ligaments, the fascia around your lower part of your face through here, using the jaw muscle. A lot of the foods that we eat now are completely soft foods, so we don't use our jaw muscles anymore. And way back in the past, when we used our jaw muscles, when we ate grass-fed, grass-finished meats, you had to chew it for a period of time, and it builds up your facial structure really, really nice. So that's one of the things that we need to go back to. I'm going to show you an exercise that you can do every day that will mimic that. So you can start strengthening the muscles in your face and start to restructure what's underneath the skin. So your face is going to look a lot younger from this. All right, we're going to show you the first exercise for the platysma, okay? I will be honest with you, this exercise is probably not one you want to do in public because it's a little cringy, but it's super effective. Now notice how fast she's doing it. She's doing about 10 to 15 impulses with a rest in between, okay? And you're exploding this muscle underneath your chin, and it's going to tighten this whole thing. Now, what's interesting, when you do this, your muscles are going to get really, really tired, and you're going to get really sore, but it's super effective, and you want to do 3 sets of these several times a week until you notice a nice tightening of all the structures, not only underneath your jawline, but you should notice tightening around the jaw as well. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more exercises. This one is going to work on your jaw muscles. This is one that should have been built up by consuming a lot of meat with collagen, but we don't do that because we have the most tender meat and the softest foods. So this will activate the muscles and ligaments and tendons around your face to actually help the bone structure and help the muscle that defines your face. What you're going to do is you're just going to hold your chin right here, and then you're going to open your mouth against resistance. It kind of reverses the flow from contracting the muscles. We're going the opposite direction. Now let's do it from the side so you can see it. I would recommend doing 10 reps 3 times, kind of spaced out by 30 seconds, a few times a week. So now we're at the 3rd exercise, which also works on the jaw. A little bit different. We're going to be causing this lower jaw to jut out. This involves different muscles that are actually pulling the bottom jaw forward. Now from the side, you can see it a little bit better. So you do 10 reps 3 times with a 30-second break. Rarely does anyone really work on their facial muscles. So actually go ahead and do these exercises. Come back 1 to 2 weeks from now and comment down below on what that has done for you. And before you go, you have to see this video on how to get rid of your cellulite right here. Check it out right now.